Aloha! This is lesson 272 from A Course in Miracles with Hope Johnson. How can illusions satisfy God's Son? Father, the truth belongs to me. My home is set in heaven by your will and mine. Can dreams content me? Can illusions bring me happiness? What but your memory can satisfy your Son? I will accept no less than you have given me. I am surrounded by your love, forever still, forever gentle, and forever safe. God's Son must be as you created him. Today we pass illusions by, and if we hear temptation call to us to stay and linger in a dream, we turn aside and ask ourselves if we, the sons of God, could be content with dreams, when heaven can be chosen just as easily as hell, and love will happily replace all fear. That concludes the text. How can illusions satisfy God's Son? So this lesson is like a disentangling from the false world. It's an invitation, kind of like an invocation of our return. We're returning to what never left. It shows us the futility of substitutes. Can dreams content me? Can illusions bring me happiness? See? Illusions only offer brief sparkles, brief sense of pleasure or joy, but nothing lasting. No lasting light. Not like our heaven. Illusions trade peace for fluctuation. Oh, I'm so glad this happened. Oh, I'm so bummed this happened. See what I mean? That's different from peace. Peace prevails through anything that seems to arise, all of the seeming fluctuations in the world. And it's also trading joy for dependency. Instead of being able to enjoy, we're just dependent on whether things go our way for our joy. That's not what we want. That's not what we're looking for. So we might ask ourselves, where am I bargaining with illusions to give me something that only God can give me? See, we all want the peace of God. We don't want anything else. We don't want what illusions promise to us, which is really nothing. But we get this idea that they're promising something good to us. That's what this lesson is for. So the truth belongs to you. It says the truth belongs to me. This isn't earned. This is our inherited birthright. This is our nature. It's not a reward for doing something good. We don't need to become worthy. It's a matter of stopping this forgetfulness. Forgetting that we're the Son of God. Forgetting that we don't rely or depend on anything in this world. You know, I talk to a lot of people every day, and every issue that they have, every problem that they have, is that they're depending on the world to give them what they want. Okay? It may even show up in yourself not being good enough. Oh, that's always the underpinning of everything that you think is wrong. Even if you think war is wrong, really, the underpinning of that is I'm a miserable sinner. Really, that's what it is. And it's just projected outward. Okay? So it's this idea that the world and, yourself in the world, the self that you made in the world is also part of the world. It's not giving you what you want. And the way of looking at it is it's never going to give you what you want. Until you learn. It's not really unless, because it's inevitable that you will learn that you only want the peace of God. And when you learn that you only want the peace of God, that's what you're even using all of your illusions for. So then it's always giving you what you want. Because you actually know what you want. It's not something in the world. So heaven is your home. Heaven is your true home. And it's God's will and yours that you return your mind to what you are. This isn't given to you as a metaphor where it says, my home is set in heaven by your will and mine. This is intended to be remembered, and it will be remembered. that you come from peace. And you're going to return to it because you never actually left peace. So this is your remembering. You're listening to this lesson right now because you want to remember. So notice what it would be like if you just walk through the whole day as someone returning home, not searching for something in the world. You're just returning home. And it's a mental journey. It's a mental trip back to home. Right? It's this idea that you're lost out in the wilderness and you've got all these different relationships going. You have to succumb to all these different energies and stuff like that. It's actually your mind returning to the truth that it never left. And that's really what brings on the happy dream. Because now you're not beholden to all these ideas that you made up and the life that you made and all that kind of stuff. There's no more bargaining with illusions. It says, I will accept no less than you have given me. You weren't created for compromise. You weren't created to live by fear. Your fear or another person's fear. You weren't created for that. You were created for wholeness, holiness. Okay, let this be your refusal. I am no longer available for half peace. I'm no longer available for partial love or temporary joy. This is not me. I want it all. I will accept no less than you have given me. Those are the exact words from this lesson. You're surrounded by love and forever safe. It says forever still, forever gentle, and forever safe. This is your context. Even when you don't recognize it, this is your context. This is where you be in truth. Breathe into that. You might ask yourself, what would I release if I truly knew I was safe? What would I release? Look at that. Look at how much we hang on to believing that we're not safe. Look at what we hang on to based on guilt, for instance. Based on fear. How is someone else going to feel? See? This is how we set it up. We set it up so that we can be confined, get the sense that we're confined, that we're enslaved, that we have to compromise. That we have to compromise basically the will of God to appease, to please, to be seen as a good person, okay? You must be as God created you. You can't be another way. We've gone over this so many times. You are as God created you. And here it says, God's Son must be as you created him. Once again, we're revisiting that. Almost every lesson we're seeing that now. That's because this is a very important concept to recognize that you are still as God created you. You can't improve on that. God created you. You can only obscure it or let it shine. Those are your two choices. Obscure the creation or let it shine. Temptation is just an invitation that you get in a dream. It says if we hear temptation call, we turn aside. Temptation isn't always dark and dramatic. It's not like people think of temptation as a chocolate cake or a line of cocaine or a bottle of alcohol or something like that, but it's not always like that. It's mostly subtle, really subtle. It's the pull to be small, to be reactive, to be guilty or fearful, okay? This comes on in a very subtle way. That's why it helps to be still so you can recognize these patterns that are occurring that you habitually play into that you can just be released from. And that's what this course is for, to help you be released. In the moment, you might ask, does this feel like home to me? Does this feel like home or different from home? That's one thing that I've been able to recognize ever since I was a kid. I just get this weird feeling like that. That doesn't feel right. That just doesn't quite land right. Does this feel like home to me? If it doesn't, it's not home. It must mean I'm being lured into dreaming again. This is where I don't want to go. It only leads to suffering. I've seen it again and again. So it's, the choice is heaven or hell. And there's nothing in between this. It's just heaven or hell. It says in this lesson, heaven can be chosen just as easily as hell. Peace is not hard. It's just unfamiliar to the ego who you've learned to identify with. This is an unlearning. Who you truly are knows the way. Who you truly are knows the way to peace. It's about pausing and being willing to choose again. And don't get frustrated with yourself. I know I was just talking with a friend about how it took me 10 years to see through a pattern that I was playing into. It took me longer than that, actually. But it took me 10 years once I realized that I was on this pattern. I see you. Okay, I'm on it. In the scope of things, in the scope of how much time we've invested into identifying as an ego, 10 years is really nothing. And you can spend 10 years undoing it, or you can spend 10 years dying, basically. The undoing is living. This is living, even while it seems like you're going through it, even while it seems like you're in some kind of struggle, right? Just watch, keep on watching, keep being willing to see that heaven or hell, it's your choice. And, I would get the sense that I was being treated unfairly. And that sense that I was being treated unfairly showed me that I needed correction. I just kept my eye on it. I didn't let off. I didn't change to another. What people do a lot is they touch A Course in Miracles for a little while, and then they see that it's not working and change to something else. And then like 40 years later, they're like, shit, I should have kept on looking at that. I would have really been ahead by now if I would have been looking at that. Well, there's no shoulds or anything. It's just that's the nature of the temptation that the ego does. It's like, that's never going to work. You're not going to be able to learn that course. No, have confidence. You can learn this course. You absolutely can. There's no one who can't. So, yeah. Today, we're not trading heaven for illusions. Today, we're choosing only what's real. Today, we're choosing what's truly ours. Repeat this lesson as needed. I say this just about every time, but it needs repeating because you guys don't do it a lot of the times. I talk to you guys and you're like, yeah. I go, are you on the daily lesson? Yeah, I'm on the daily lesson. I go, well, why aren't you bringing those thoughts to that lesson? What? Well, this is what it's for. That's why I say AM and PM. Every hour, set your clock to be reminded of this lesson, okay? And anytime it seems like illusions can satisfy you. This is a huge temptation. It seems like illusions can satisfy you. It's like, but that sex, that's really good. I'm sure if I just, no illusions can satisfy you. And this is it. This is the lesson. How can illusions satisfy God's Son? It's a great question. Apply that to everything. Something comes up in your life, and the ego is telling you, I am the worst person. That is not you talking. That's the ego. I am the worst person. Bring it to the truth. How can illusions satisfy God's Son? Like, how can that thought actually be satisfying? And how can the idea that I could be something in this world ever satisfy me? No, it can't happen. So today, try not to pretend like you're satisfied with anything less than God's love and perfect peace. When feeling tempted, whenever you feel tempted to come off of this, pause. Ask, could this illusion truly satisfy me? Really, this is a practical course. It's anything. Then breathe. Here's a breathing exercise I like. Breathe out that thought. Breathe out with it. Squeeze your belly small. And then take in this lesson. How can illusions satisfy God's Son? Take that in with the breath and watch your body's energy field relax. And at night, you might reflect. What illusion did I try to find comfort in today? Just look, just notice. What did I try to find comfort in today? Did I look at my stocks and See if they went up or down and try to find comfort in that. I'm not saying looking at your stocks is wrong. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying watch what your mind is doing. Are you trying to find comfort in that? Are you trying to find relief in that? What if you want someone to hang out with you and they agree to hang out with you? You find relief in their reaction to you? Watch. Notice what happens when you bring it to the truth. How can illusion satisfy God's Son? Notice what happens in your body's energy field. What do you find out about that? You're not here to decorate this dream. You're only here to remember what's real. It's the only thing you can even do here. All other doings are just nothing. Nothing's happening. Remember that you're here to remember what's real. And let that replace all the substitutes the ego told you were important. And have a beautiful remembrance. I love you. Ahui ho.